Why did Americans launch needles into space? More than half a century has passed since the Americans launched Project Westford, but to this day scientists debate what it was and why it was done. Many are convinced the authorities are hiding something, and most likely the military is involved. So what exactly happened in the 1960s in the US? In the 1960s, American scientists conceived the idea of creating a special system for transmitting radio signals for control, including for military forces. During the Cold War, the American military feared that if a war broke out, Soviet forces would sever the cables used for information exchange between troops. And in those years, there was no satellite communication yet. However, humans had already been in space, and the Americans began actively exploring the ionosphere. More precisely, they decided to construct an orbital ring around Earth that would amplify radio waves. It was impossible to assemble it in orbit; such technologies did not exist. Therefore, scientists from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology decided to launch 480 million copper needles into space, each less than 2 centimeters long and approximately 20 microns in diameter. This project was named Westford. The test launch of this project, the initial deployment of the needles into orbit, took place in 1961 and was initially unsuccessful. This was because during deployment, the needles clumped together, forming clusters or lumps, and failed to form a coherent radio channel through which signals could be transmitted. A total of 3 launches took place. Around the planet, at an altitude of approximately 350 to 380 kilometers, the Americans created a torus-shaped cloud about 30 kilometers thick. As a result, scientists even conducted a successful radio communication session connecting California and Massachusetts. According to calculations, the needles were expected to remain in orbit for about 10 years. In the 1970s, they began to fall back to Earth, not burning up in the dense layers of the atmosphere. Initially, scientists intended to locate and study them. However, calculations showed a density of 5 needles per kilometer in polar snows, and the idea was abandoned. Incidentally, not all needles returned to Earth. Some remained in orbit. It was from these that the so-called space debris began to accumulate. By 2016, 38 clusters of these needles could still be tracked.